Hey there, welcome to another episode of Your Concrete Success Podcast. This is Danny Barrera with my co-host and partner, literal partner, my wife. It's an honor to have you here, Maddie, one more time. Welcome aboard. Welcome to another episode. How's your day going?
Thanks. My day's going great. I'm super excited to be here, record a new episode. Our last couple episodes, I've got a lot of good feedback. Everybody's loved them, and I'm super excited to record a new one today.
Beautiful. What do you got for us today?
All right. Today's going to be a fun episode because we're going to be talking about our biggest leadership lessons that we've learned in Concrete Marketing Crew. But the fun part is that we're going to give a sneak peek into our actual Concrete Marketing Crew culture. So that's exciting.
I love it. I love it. So today we're not talking about marketing. We're talking about the team.
Yes.
And what drives the business.
Yes.
Right. It's an interesting thing because you start going after, or at least I'll talk for myself here. When we started Concrete Marketing Crew, it's like, hey, we just want to make a living, right? We want to serve our needs. And as we started growing and scaling the company, we realized the real game is not in getting more clients or increasing our retainer model every month. It's not just serving clients at the highest possible levels. Really, the individuals that make it happen for us are our crew.
Right.
Concrete Marketing Crew, and we've changed our entire vision, mission, values, our core values, not because we have changed our core values as individuals. We'll actually integrate them so that we can get people to buy in to where we're going, how we're serving the industry, and really think about this. I love concrete. I love decorative concrete. I love concrete coatings, but we're going to get lethal marketers, individuals they can go out and work on e-commerce brands. They can go out and work elsewhere. Why would they come and work at a company that solely focuses in marketing the concrete and decorative concrete industry? So that's been the biggest challenges over the year. And I'm glad that we're talking about this episode. And I want to dedicate this episode to all of our crew members, past, present, and the future. We appreciate you so much. Every single one of you has helped us get to where we are and helping us prepare for where we're going.
Yes, I agree. All right, so let's start off with our first question. And this one's kind of interesting because it might seem like it doesn't fit, but it definitely fits into our culture. And we've been asked this question before by some of our employees. So why do you, Danny Barrera, bring faith and God into our business?
First and foremost, we're not one-dimensional individuals. And, going back to the people component, there's a spiritual aspect to all of us that we can try to run away from, hide from it. There's a spiritual truth. And look, here's the bottom line. We are very inclusive as an organization, whether it's Muslim religion, individuals that read the Bhagavad Gita or the Bible or the Torah. I believe that there's a higher power really that gives us this amazing life and this opportunity to create an impact. And we're on this journey of growth and expansion. And if we're only growing in the monetary aspect or in client base or getting people, we've found that individuals get burned out. They start having problems at home. Their health starts falling apart. And when we look at it, hey, let's talk about God for a moment here. Let's sit on a moment of prayer together and everything starts changing. There's a different power that comes through that I wish I could tell you that, hey, it's Danny Barrera's prayer or it's Maddie's prayer. No, it's a higher power that comes through. And look, we pray for our clients. We pray for our employees. We pray for our software. We pray for our CRM.
For
God,
launches.
help us. Help us
Yes.
get this thing dialed in. Help us our clients' rankings crush it. And we've seen God's hand move time and time and time again, and I will not shy away from it. And it's made some past employees uncomfortable for the fact that I am very vocal in every Monday huddle. I don't shy away from it because God is my source, and I am here because of His grace and His salvation for myself. And I want everyone to experience that peace, love, and redemption, because when you do, you're just unstoppable. You stop doubting yourself. And when you go into business and you go into war in business, look, everything else is more manageable. Everything else is like, okay, God, we got this. So, and the second thing is like, look, it makes our lives a lot easier too, right? There's imagine running a business with your partner. How many people have you heard? Oh, I could never run a business with my partner. Never in a million years. But having this one component that unifies us and unites us, I think a lot of times when we've had our differences, it's also helping us strengthen our relationship. And what our children get to see, to me, is I'm planting seeds in my children. I don't care how young they are. And for me, that is critical. It's a cornerstone. And that's
I
it.
agree. I mean, it's also we've had clients that have had surgery or been sick or whatnot, and have actually reached out to us and said, "Hey, do you mind saying a prayer for me? I'm gonna have some surgery like coming up."
Absolutely.
And I think that's we're not. I'm not saying you have to like in the same Monday huddle that you're talking about, like God and faith. We're also having like a non-religious meditation, so it's almost like we're very inclusive of everything, but definitely God is very important to us. And like you said, before I launch any ad, I always like pray over that ad.
And it makes the greatest
campaign,
difference.
And I don't know, I always do. So that
It makes the greatest
it
difference.
does. It truly does.
Yes, and if you need prayer, we're open for you. Send us a message. This doesn't have to be about business. Like, seriously, legitimately. This is something I also like to give Bent Mikkelson from Conquer the Core magazine, a man of God, another individual who's opened up a ton of doors for us in the industry and introduced us to the industry. And we've gotten to spend some time with him last couple of World of Concretes.
Yeah.
And there's an incredible community of Christians and believers in the decorative concrete space. And for me, I'm not going to shy away or ever feel ashamed of, professing my belief. And I'm not here to impose it on anyone, but I'm here to share it. And look, this is, I think we are our living testimonies and how we carry ourselves, etc. And that makes an incredible impact for people and in people.
Yeah, and I think it's a very genuine thing, and it also contributes to the culture of our company because you're just very genuine. So, speaking about culture, that's one of the things I want to talk about today. What is culture? What is culture, and why is it so important in a business?
I love it. One more thing I like to wrap up on the last one is there's a fine line of, I feel like some individuals use the name of God in vain and faith in vain, where you might be quoting Bible verses left and right. And on the other side, you find yourself as a hypocrite going down and, the same individuals doing this, this is what gives a bad reputation.
Yeah.
And there are so many individuals that have been hurt by the church, have been hurt by, hey, I was molested as a child going to church. And this is not what we're talking about here. I just want to make that very clear, because at some point or another, like, someone has been hurt, and it's always come down to the individuals that have hurt you. And this is where we get to show God's grace in this specific phase. And that bleeds into this whole component of what is a culture. How do we build a culture? Is something that I started looking into about 3 to 4 years ago, where we're constantly burning our tires, me and Maddie, and we're like, hey, how do we get people to buy into what we're doing? How do we get our company members motivated to come in and show up and do the best that they can? How do we get them inspired to be their best selves? And what I learned through this process is a combination of training coaches, et cetera, that have helped us in this journey. And I want to commend them for this. But really, there are three key things that come up here, and I've written them down. One of them is, to create a culture, you need, number one, your values. What are your core values? You're going to need some sort of core values, the values that you drive yourself and do business. And it's not just about coming up with a couple of cute words that you see and that you can plaster on the wall. No, it's actually something that's meaningful, that you can carry, and it transcends just what it reads. The next one is the code. The code is, how do you operate? It's like the ethos. Take it as the ethos as you operate. And I'll show you some of the codes here that we have at Concrete Marketing Crew, which is what I leverage and that helps me facilitate this Monday huddle. So there's a piece of the Monday huddles that, this is more so of sharing how we can grow and empower our individuals to perform and be their best selves. And I always borrow from one of the ethos that's also tied in right into the values. And then the last one is the philosophy. So you have the values, core values, you have the code, your living code, as well as the philosophy of how do you as a company, as an organization, as a team, how do you see the world and how do you stand out in the marketplace? This goes beyond the brand and the logo. This is actually living it and being it.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree with that. I agree with that. It's something that, you have to do. Like for us, it's been very important for us to like be able to have our employees buy in and love an industry as much as we do. Like that's kind of, that's important. That's important to everything, to the results of our clients, to the way that we grow, because if they don't love what we're marketing, then how can, they market it the right way? You know what I'm saying? Like, you have to really love it, and creating that spark in them has been something that we've progressed as we've been in this industry, and it's actually something that I'm very proud of today. When I see like my graphics team like really love putting together a video that talks about the process of coating a floor, like that. There's nothing cooler than that. There's nothing cooler than that.
And look, here's the bottom line: is all of that ties in, and they are the ones that participate and help us create the culture. Like, yes, we can mastermind and speak about these things. Okay, what is our crew values, right? We had the core values, which we have a client, amazing client, Lance. We're going to have him talk about how to create core values in your company and organization in a way that is meaningful. That was one of the big pivot points in our company. It's like, oh, wow, the way he explained it. And then he explained it to his crews, and then he explained it to us as marketing partners, Lance. And after that, we went back to the drawing board and say, hey, what are our core values again? Right. Like, are we even, like if we ask any one of our team members, do they even know it? Right. And that became a definite moment for us and for our team, and we started making it exciting. Like, they get to participate in helping us create this into a way that is embedded right into their belief system as well. So we went from having core values to our crew values.
Yeah.
Concrete marketing crew values. And our crew values are commitment. We're committed to being the best version of ourselves, first for ourselves, so that we can be the best version of ourselves for the rest of the world. You see, we don't put ourselves last. We actually, as individuals, we're committed to being the best version of ourselves, first for ourselves. So if I'm a father, I'm going to be showing up as an elite father. If I'm a husband, I'm going to be showing up as the best husband and partner. If I'm an employee, I'm going to be showing up as the best employee I can be. If I'm a graphic designer, I'm going to be showing up. So we believe that as a multi-dimension individual, you have your body, you have your being, your spiritual connection, you have your relationships, and then you have the business, the career component. You're not just in one dimension. I'm not here having employees just be part of concrete marketing crew so that you can work on our clients' accounts. No, that's not what it's about. It's what is the impact that you get to generate and create as a byproduct of a graphic, or a byproduct of an article that ranks for our clients, or as a byproduct of our clients' Google listings showing up as number one. There's a massive, we are empowering over 1,460 individuals as of now. As of this video, this is how many lives our crew, not Danny Barrera, not Matty Barrera, our crew gets to impact. And you see, when we talk about our crew values, I mean, it takes a different form. We get excited about. Right now, they're printing T-shirts, crush the standards, because you got the standards, be the standard. But what if there's be the standards and there's crush the standards? Why? Because you know what? You guys got so bored about beating your own ads. And it's like, okay, Maddie, like, we keep doing, we keep crushing it with these video ads. Well, now we said, let's crush the standards. Let's crush what we did and do it better. Yeah. Right? So that's the crew values. Right? And then the code, the ethos, it's a different form. And then the philosophy, different form. I don't know if you have any other questions regarding this.
I do. Well, I just want to bring it back to your Lance, what you were talking about, Lance and his core values of his team. I can vouch for how much his team loves working for him. And only by the pictures that he sends us, like even our team members have noticed how much and how unified he and his team is because of his way that he shows them core values. So that's very interesting. All right. So I have a question now.
Yes.
Why do most business owners stay small?
Oh, that's an easy one. It's because this is hard work. What you've signed up for is not to be an installer. You have signed up to be in the most uncertainty in your life, where the results are completely up to you. And when it comes time for you to pull the trigger and make an investment, and this is where, here's the bottom line: we are here to guide you, help make better business decisions. That's the bottom line. So at some point in time, if you're a business owner, you've gotten ripped off, taken advantage of, and this is why we're putting all this content, all this effort. We're investing in putting content that brings light and awareness and empowers you, because we are sick and tired of seeing so many business owners who work so hard get ripped off.
Yes.
But there's a sense of responsibility that comes from it. Like recently we had an employee who was a leader in our organization step down from her role, and we appreciate for all of her contribution. However, there's so many lessons which we'll call them expensive lessons, which we'll see them. You can look at it as an expense, as like, wow, man, we just got burned, or we put so much faith on this individual, or we could look at the amount of time that individual was here contributing and look at it as an expense. But to us, we've learned, like, hey, this is part of the learning lesson. This is how much it costs us for us to learn this lesson. And it's been the same over and over and over again. And every time we get better. So being able to reframe problems into opportunities, being able to reframe, hey, I just got ripped off from this marketing agency. Well, you should know how to ask better questions next time, right? Turn that into the positive. You see, because most people that stay small, they stay in the same mindset expecting different results. So your mindset has to change. And you must be willing to die. The old self must die in order for a new version to be born. There's no way around it. This is why for us, the constant growth and expansion is a never-ending journey. And are we perfect in the process? No. I'm not sitting here as a clown with the makeup, and I give this example to my team. Guys, I'm not a clown. You want a clown? Someone that puts this pretty face here, promises you the world, and all this, trying to get you excited, and then at the end of the day, you don't know who that person is. Or I can show up as the most authentic, realist version of myself, and here's what I'm going to share in the process. I'm going to give you 100% of who I am. And I'm not going to hide. So when you stay small, there's a conversation that you got to ask yourself. Are you happy with where you are? Like legitimately, are you happy with the results, with your body, with your relationships, with how you're showing up with your children, with your bank account? Are you happy or unhappy? And at some point in time, you have to align yourself with better people. You have to align yourself with individuals that can help you get to that next level. Like there's no way around it. No way around it. This is why faith is so important for us. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's good.
Because there's a lot of darkness that we have to face. Insecurities. The other thing is, like one of my mentors, Garrett J. White, talks about, hey, you can be saved but still live like a slave. And what it means is we can receive God's redemption for our lives, but ultimately, are we accepting it? Are we forgiving ourselves for our mess ups? For the mistakes that we made? Or are we going to take that and hear his voice and say, hey, this is actually a lesson for you. So staying small is a choice. And as we're heading to 2024, 2025, my friend, I'm going to call you into action. This is not the time to play small. This is not the time to play it safe. What you're about to see unleash into the marketplace is going to be some of the hardest seasons of your lifetime as a business owner. Plain and simple. This is why we're not just doubling down, we're fourfolding it down into Concrete Marketing Crew to help our clients. We could be doing other things, like quite literally. But this is why I'm so passionate, and I hope that if you're listening to this, you're finding some value. Give us some feedback. Let us know. Share this podcast if you're finding it helpful. Why? Because it wasn't until I had someone in my corner tell me these realities that I started realizing, wow, like when the Bible says, be transformed by the renewing of the mind, what does that really mean and how does that apply to me? So an old self must die. Old belief system, current, must perish for a new one to be born. Learn more lessons. Guess what? There's another level. Learn more lessons here. There's another level. It never ends.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yep.
yeah, this is it.
Constant learning. You're right. It's a constant evolution of learning. Like you can't just stay where you are. You got to keep moving, growing, learning, expanding. If you just want to just stay where you are and you're comfortable, that's why you're going to stay small. But if you really want to grow, you just got to keep getting uncomfortable and growing and expanding and moving and changing. And that's a very interesting lesson because tend to be the type of person that, well, that's kind of hard. But I've learned that when you grow, it's hard, but it's very good and very rewarding. So that's good. That's good stuff. All right, Danny. Speaking of which, what have been some of our biggest struggles as we've grown?
Oh, biggest struggle by far is there's been quite a few. Oh my gosh, where do we start?
I know.
Oh,
That's a
thank you
good
God
one.
for all the struggles, because if it weren't for them, we wouldn't be here. But I mean, there's been a series of struggle. But when it comes to in this topic of culture, vision, mission, values, and if you have that graphic, if you could pull it up here, I would love to share with you what's come out of all the struggles. You know, first and foremost, our identity as a company. As you scroll down into who we are, hey, you know, we've redefined the way our company culture looks like, because there was a point in time where we were just hiring just to fulfill services.
Yeah.
And that was not making an impact. No one was happy at the end of the day. I mean, people were working, they were getting paid, but ultimately they didn't feel like they were part of something bigger than themselves. So who we are and creating the identity of Concrete Marketing Crew, we're a team of digital marketing experts specialized in serving the concrete and decorative concrete industry throughout in contractors throughout the United States. And if you scroll down, it's what do we do? Hey, we help concrete and decorative concrete contractors get more leads, book more estimates, and sell more projects with our digital marketing solutions and services. You see, what we do here, this one paragraph right here, there was a point in time where we were trying to be all things to all of our clients and stretching and going above and beyond. And we've simplified our offering for not just scaling purposes, but for fulfillment and consistency of our services, so that we could provide a 5-star experience. Like there was a point in time that what we do was so blurred out that people like, our clients were like, oh, hey, I need these other graphics for this, and I need this and that, and I need this and that. And we would be like, hey, social media, can you post on our social media channels? And we'd be like, yes, sir, yes, ma'am. And, you know, we'd do it. So there was a point in time where we were all things to all clients. And then as we started growing, we realized that's not a path for scaling. And let's just define what we're the best at and what we're committed to being the best at. If you go to the next one, we talk about our mission and industry impact. Like this was not defined. If you came to us 3 years ago, this was not as defined. Hey, we're on a mission to profitably enhance the lives of 500 concrete coating and decorative concrete contractors by helping them get more leads, book more estimates, and sell more floors, resulting in more time, freedom, and profits by 2025. I'm proud to say that we're on track to hitting these targets. I'm very proud. Is it a walk in the park? Absolutely not. But guess what? We have a clear target of where we're going. We did not have this as clear as it is. And the next one is the vivid vision. How do we see this realized in the world? And this is the way it's realized. It's December 31st, 2025. We're ending the single best year of our company history, and the company is riding a major high. We have just had a positive workplace impact and focus with serving 500 clients, 50 virtual team members, 500 positive reviews collected. And I can tell you that 500, that's a stretch for us right now.
That's the hardest
we're,
part.
We're about we're about 25 right now. And if you're a client of Concrete Marketing Crew, it would mean the world. Maddie's birthday is coming up. It would mean a lot more to her than ever if you take time to give us your feedback. But we do appreciate you for entrusting us with your business, but the reviews piece is probably what we're most off track with. And we're working very hard to earn those 5-star reviews, genuine, legitimate, and truth be told, like I could go and buy 5-star reviews online. I know who sells them, like that whole thing, but we don't do it that way. We keep it 100% real. And then the last one right here, if you scroll down, is our crew values. I talked about the crew values. There was no value system that was very clear. You see, now every one of our single crew members takes ownership and they're committed. They're responsible when they're showing up. There's a sense of excellence. Hey, how do we define excellence? Well, we aim for personal professional excellence by pushing the boundaries through meticulous quality control. Like, you see that one specific paragraph, we go over it and over it and over it, and everyone buys into it because you know what? They actually do take pride in what they do, and they're very meticulous about what they do. And last but not least is defining what world class means. So a lot of times, and this has been one of the biggest lessons for me, it's language. It's how to communicate. The biggest opportunity, biggest struggle is how do I communicate? English is my second language. You know, how do I make every single word matter? And we've prayed over all these things. And, you know, I've asked God, hey, give me guidance in how to better lead our team and how to integrate. There was a time in point in place, and thank you for sharing that slide. There was a point in time in our company where, you know, we were almost like, hey, we're not going to talk about God, or, you know, we're never going to bring that up. And it got to a point where God had a treatment with me. And it was the same year that my father went with the Lord. That was about 4 years ago. My father went with the Lord. It was also the same year that my ex-wife disappeared from my children's lives. And both of those things combined, and I had a decision to make at that point in time. I was here as an immigrant, and I did not have the legal status to go and fly back out to El Salvador to see my dad. I wanted to see him for one last time and hold his hand and give him a hug and tell him how much I love him. You know, and that was a point in time where it was a real encounter with God and God's love for my life. It was the real point in time where I probably gained 30 pounds, 35 pounds in like 3 months, you know, and I was so disconnected from my children. I was so disconnected from you, from Maddie. I had prioritized my business so much that I was so disconnected from the world, trying to avoid the pain. And it wasn't until I went right down to the pit, right down to the darkest place in my life where I encountered God and God's love, and I received it. And that's a moment in time where I started realizing I'm playing this game the wrong way. Like, the business is actually supposed to serve my family so that we can serve God. Like, I'm not serving God if I'm not showing up in my children's lives. And this is the moment in time where this reinvention. Can you talk a little bit about that? Because you experienced it from a different angle. We were at Bell Parkland, and it was a time where, you know, a complete shift.
Yeah. Yeah, no, definitely. It was a complete shift in time when you really started to focus on yourself and your growth and your improvement. And, you know, it was a little bit hard, but like you say, it was like a pit. But whenever, like, you know, you're in that valley like that, there's always going to be like a breakthrough at the end. So, you know, at the end of the day, like, I look forward now and I see like that process, and I only see like where we are now. But because like you're so, you know, you're always so focused on just bettering yourself. And as a wife, I could tell you that I don't necessarily like get stuck in that valley, but I much more relish in like where you are now and where we are now. So I guess I'm giving you the perspective of a wife of a business owner, which is also very important, because a lot of our business owner, concrete coating business owners, they have wives too, and
Of course.
you know, we see the end product, not so much, you know, that valley. So long as we see that growth and that decision to move to a better place, I think that there's a lot of value in that.
Yes. And you know, so some of the biggest lessons I've learned is quite literally surrender. You know, there's so many times where we think we know better, and we don't. We simply don't. So in surrendering to the sense of like, hey, look, there's so much more for me, and if I'm holding on to this specific level of my life right now, which I think I know it all, I'm stopping myself and my family from receiving God's blessings. Like quite literally. And sometimes it's the same thing with advertising. It's like, hey, I don't want to spend more money in advertising. Guess what? You holding this right here is not helping you get any more farther ahead.
Mm-hmm.
So the biggest lessons have come from those places, and what I've just shared right now about our mission industry impact, that came from like not knowing the direction where we're headed. Okay, we're growing, sure, we have the SEO, the number one SEO program, and all of a sudden we're so stressed out of our minds, and team members, like, we didn't even understand each other, and we're pushing and breaking each other down, and like, hey, what are we doing here specifically? So every single slide that you just went through here, and thank you, Christian, for putting that up. It was very intentional about gaining clarity and direction and purpose in the marketplace. And that has been the rebirth and growth of Concrete Marketing Crew. And again, this episode is dedicated to all of our Concrete Marketing Crew members for being with us, for calling this your home and your environment for growth, past, present, and future. And thank you so much for the opportunity. It's an honor to serve you. It's an honor to be your leader. And I'm really stoked about the future here because we're growing and we're attracting more people. And this is it. Can't happen without all of you.
Yep. That's good stuff. All
Awesome.
right. I have one more question for you.
Go for it.
How have we been able to unify our team and get them to buy into the vision of our company?
Beautiful. So the first thing is defining what that vision looks like. And, that's what we just shared here is our industry impact, our vivid vision, and making that absolutely clear and defining what that looks like and how it is defined for every single role. So for those of you that are interested, hey, Danny, so what would be a next step? There are different business models, different business trainings, but EOS, the EOS system, literally the word EOS, system, entrepreneurial operating system, is one of the simplest and most straightforward models where you get to break down what does your vision look like, 10-year, 3-year, 1 year, and then quarterly, and making that achievable. Because one of the biggest problems I've had in the past was giving this big ass vision, and how are we going to get there, Maddie? Okay, well, through a system like EOS, you have the ability to turn them into targets and achievable, measurable goals, and then divide them up. How does that look like per department? How does that look like per leaders? How does a crew member and their team continue to grow time and time again for us? How does our SEO team keep growing? How do we empower our people and know exactly what are going to be the rocks or the improvement key points that we're going to be measuring quarter after quarter? So when we make every individual part of that process, and we tell them, this is where we're going, team. This is where we're going. All right, let's break it down. This is what we need to achieve by the end of the year. Let's look at that, how that applies to us. Okay, well, if we need to do this many content rewrites, what can we possibly do, team, in order to have less go backs or less rewrites or less QCing done? And then we define what those targets are and make them part of the process. This puts people in a place of accountability. So it's going to help you weed out those that do not buy in. Part of the whole EOS model is getting people that get it, want it, and have the capacity/capabilities to do it. So do they get what they're doing? Do they want it? You see a lot of people want to work with you, but do they truly get right down to the point where they're literally able to follow up what the high or standards of excellence look like for you? So there's a standard of excellence that we do expect for our Facebook ads team. There have been individuals that have not lasted at Concrete Marketing Crew because of the lack of transparency, the lack of having conversations. Some of them have left negative reviews in the past, in job portals. I'm like, okay, well, there was no transparency, and I get it, and they didn't get it, and it doesn't serve them, nor does it serve you as the business owner. So it never served us having someone who couldn't get it, and there was a season where, man. We were just trying to hammer. Do we use Trainual? Do we use written SOPs? Do we use videos? We ended up doing all of them. Do you remember, right?
Yeah.
So there's that piece. Getting people that get it, want it, have the capacity to do it. Give them a clear vision and roadmap. How is it that is going to lay? And then second thing is stop For me, it was the point where I stopped putting myself first and then put them first. And why do I say that is because I took so much pride in saying we're the number one SEO company in the industry. We're this and that. And I became the biggest bottleneck. And that's been probably the most crucial lesson for me, has been how do I remove myself, Atari, empower people, and give them this vision, and then empower the leaders within the company so that they feel proud about what they're doing. And as soon as we determine who's a leader or who's got those specific skill sets, invite them for an opportunity to grow. And lastly, it's giving them this ascension ladder. And if you're a business owner, I want you to Google this term called the employee S curve. Employee S curve. Every employee has it in the beginning. There's going to be a season where they're pretty much going to be learning the model, the business model, but there's going to be a point where they hit that excellence or they hit the ceiling. And if you're not able to provide another next level opportunity for them, guess what? If you don't provide that opportunity for them and they feel bored and they're like, hey, I'm maxed out here, I did the best I could, they're going to look for another place to go and work at. And it happens to every employer out there, and that's the biggest challenge with getting A players or rock stars, etc., is how do you attract them, but how do you retain them? How do you give them that next level? So that's been part of our constant going back to the drawing board. How do we create that next level for our employees? And that's how we get them to buy in. The swag it's also helpful, but that's, that comes and goes. We've had the sabbaticals, which is the times off. Every 8 weeks, they get a week off. Flexibility, virtual team environment, a fun, positive workplace where they get to grow in multiple areas of their lives. And, positivity is a big deal. Anything else you'd like to share?
No, I wanna just ask you a quick question. Like, all of this information has been very, very valuable, super valuable when you're a business owner. But I want you to give me some like real examples of how a one crew small concrete coating business can apply some of this to their current company so that they can grow a little bit more.
Oh, I love it. So if you're at one, that is the best place where you can be at. If you're at one, that means you start with where you are. What is the crystal clear vision that you have for your business? And I get it. It doesn't make sense when you're grinding floors, when you're on your knees and you just want to make a living. But eventually when you realize, hey, I got to hire a helper, or I'm having a hard time getting help, or I'm having a hard time. Danny, I got the truck wraps, but no one wants to come and work for us. Like, what does that tell me? Well, it has a lot more to do with the leader of the company and how are you treating the individuals? Are you providing them an opportunity that is desirable? Do they want to be around you, or are you just going to boss them around? Unfortunately, we're not back in the 1980s where quite literally employers had a different mindset about how to treat employees. Almost like you were, quite literally, you could be right there with... what do you call it? A whip. And you could command them, hey, go and grind that floor right now. I was about to curse right now. But, and they would go down and like, no. Nowadays, there's so much opportunity available. There are so many competitors that will want to have a top talent. And the question is, with that in mind, what kind of character? How are you showing up as an individual? Are you inspiring them? Are you going to be the kind of boss that's going to be detrimental for their mental health? And look, here's the bottom line in the trades. People are looking for hope. They're looking for a positive place that they can work on. And you get to decide what kind of culture you get to create. A culture that's going to serve you, your family, and the vision of the company. And you start with yourself. Hey, how do I want this to be? And you start with the presentation. Okay, how do I want this to look like? The first step, I don't have any SOP, I don't have any training. Well, how would I start thinking about how do I train that next hire? And start asking questions to specific support groups in how to build that training. Is it going to be a video? Is it going to be hands-on? And start thinking about what that needs to look like for you, what kind of projects you need to take them into. So that's where that getting them into the first step. And then the vision, as far as the vision, get to know your people. Like the first question is like, hey, where do you see yourself in 3 years? Like quite literally. Hey, so, what kind of car are you driving? Yeah. What kind of car do you like? just get to know them. Slow down your world. I get it. You need to make money. You need to go and do floors. But, the one thing I've learned as a leader, you got to slow down tremendously, sometimes by 90% to get to hear where your employees are at and help them and create a path for them so that they can accomplish their goals and dreams. We have one of our longest employees at Concrete Marketing Crew. He's my right-hand person. This individual is about to be an investor. About to be an investor of a multi-property. I mean, he's looking at properties right now. He's like, he actually left the company and came back. And now that he's back, he's got a different mindset. He's like, okay, it's game time. And for others, it's like, hey, I'm buying a house. For others, it's like paying off college. And we're helping them in all these different modalities. And it's our responsibility to do that. So it doesn't matter. You start with the one. Okay? Look for opportunities. Look for people that you can help and guide along the way. And I'm going to tell you this. No one likes to work for a shitty boss. Yep. Like, they're only going to last for so long. So if you have this negative mindset about people don't last, maybe you should look at it in the mirror with all due respect and put your pride aside and ask yourself, do I really want to build a business or do I want to just keep installing floors? Because if you only want to install floors, cool. Go for it, man. Go to the Facebook groups and then buddy up with someone else and go and install floors. Forget about the idea of building a business. Because building a business is going to rely on people, especially in the trades. So that answer your question?
Yeah, that did answer my question. Actually, I have no other questions for today. I just want to tell you, I really enjoyed this episode very much.
Yeah.
I thought the content was super, super clever. And I think my favorite thing about this episode is it's kind of like a glimpse into what our coaching calls are going to be in the coming up that we talked about in the last episode. So I'm super excited to see how much we're going to actually, how much more we can dive deep into on a personal basis moving forward with our clients in our coaching, on our client, what was it called again? Concrete Success Lab.
Concrete
Coding Success Lab.
Success Lab. That's right.
Yeah. I'm excited.
Okay. We talk about culture. We talk about team. I want to have you consider this. I could have come up with the names. Actually, I had different names for the group.
We did.
And what did I do to get the buy-in? I let my team decide. And they casted a vote and they decided. And then we moved on. And guess what? How do they feel when they see this thing thriving and succeeding and they see people being put into the system every single time? They got to be part of that. So create those opportunities for your team and reward them as you're growing. Reward them as you're having wins. Reward them. We celebrate our team members as much as possible.
Yeah.
We have a win Slack channel. But if you thought this was good, this is nothing. This is probably 10% of what you will get in the coaching calls. I create an experience for you where it's you, your business. You get what you need to receive. And look, if there's a place in time where, again, you need prayer, you need help, and like something's not working out, feel free to reach out at concretemarketingcrew.com. Visit our website, send us a message. It would be great to pray for you. But wishing you, all of you, an amazing rest of your week. And again, if you have not yet entered the raffle for this amazing $100 million Leads book by Alex Hormozi, it's a great book. It's a great book. There are an incredible level of concepts here, some of them which will need further explanation how to integrate and implement into concrete coding business. However, that's what the coaching calls are going to be about, is how do you integrate some of these ideas and strategies. But anyways, if you want to have a chance, make sure you subscribe. Go to YouTube, leave a comment in the video right here, share this video, and we'll see you in the next one. Until next time, Danny Barrera, Concrete Marketing Crew.